Okay, so I think I got a good angle here. So the sun is really shiny out here, so hopefully it's not too hopefully I'm seen. I won't know until I watch this video. But hello, thank you for visiting my channel. This video is a lot different from the content that I normally post. I am going to be sharing my hysterectomy story. Now, I knew that I wanted to share this story after I had my surgery. I had searched hysterectomy stories. I wanted to know people's experiences and things like that during the healing process. And I did not watch any I didn't watch any before my surgery because I didn't want to get scared. I didn't want to hear about anything that could possibly happen. That's just me. I know a lot of people do, and I do, you know, people who feel better watching videos like this before their surgery, I do encourage it because I am going to give some tips toward the end about things that you can do to prepare and things you should have on hand. But I didn't want to because I would have been scared. And I actually had a friend whose mother had a hysterectomy, and he was like, oh, my mom had one, you know, if you want to ask her any questions, you can. I was like, I'm okay. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to know about anybody's experience until after I had my surgery. So once I had my surgery and I was going through my healing process, I kept looking online for hysterectomy videos, and all of the videos I was coming across were people who had either had a laparoscopic hysterectomy or they had an abdominal hysterectomy. Now, I had a vaginal hysterectomy, and there's not a lot of information about that, about the healing process and things like that. So I said, oh yeah, I definitely need to. Like, I think literally out of all the videos I found, only 2 came up. Every time I searched vaginal hysterectomy stories and videos, the actual procedure came up. And one of the videos I came across, one of the 2 videos I came across on vaginal hysterectomy, she actually said the same thing. She couldn't find anything. And so I said, let me make this and make sure that people have something of reference who are having vaginal hysterectomy. And there's probably more videos out there, but they're not coming up in a search engine for some reason. So anyway, I want to go ahead and share my story. And first of all, I'll just share my age. I'm 36 years old. I do have one daughter. She's 16. And so I know that this is a sensitive topic for people who, my heart goes out to people who do not have kids, because I did come across some stories of some women who had hysterectomy and they had not had kids yet. And my heart definitely goes out to you. I'm thankful. I thank God that I do have my daughter, because it was after I had her that I had other issues that led to me not being able to have kids anymore. So I'm thankful for her. And again, my heart goes out to anybody who has to have this procedure or is going to or had this procedure and desire to be a mom and they can't. I just want to go ahead and share my story. I want to kind of give a little background at first. So if anybody's watching this and they want to fast forward it, that's fine. And this is getting dark again. I hope that I'm going to be so mad if I'm recording all of this and we can't see it. Let me see. Not normally in my car when I'm recording these videos, but I am sitting down at the harbor. I live in DC. I'm down at the harbor, and this is my spot where I like to come think and stuff. And this is the first place that I came to when I was able to drive again, because I was so thankful just to be able to drive and get out, that this was the first place I came to, because this is where I come to think here, pray, listen to music. I come to cry here, whatever. And that's why I'm shooting this video here, because I had some things to do today, and I said, let me go sit on my spot before I shoot this video. But today makes 2 months that since I've had my surgery. I had my surgery on January 3rd, 2020, and it is now March 3rd, 2020. And I was supposed to have my surgery way back in August. And when I found out I had to have the surgery, I was not really, I mean, don't get me wrong, it wasn't that I wanted to have the surgery, but I was at peace with having a surgery, because years ago I had ectopic pregnancies on both sides, so my tubes were already gone. And so as my daughter got older and as I got older, I already kind of had in my mind that I didn't want to have any more kids. So when my doctor brought it up, my situation involved the C word, and by the C word, you know what word I'm talking about, the big C. I don't even want to say the big C. We minimizing that C. We're not giving that C no power. I rebuke that. We're not giving that C no power. But I was in the pre-stages of the C word. And They were going to take a biopsy of my cervix and uterus and send it off. And so that would have been one surgery. And then if it was positive, I would have had to have another surgery. So when my doctor brought up the fact that, look, we can just go ahead and do a hysterectomy, I was okay with that, because I didn't want to have two surgeries again. Like I said, I already had 2 ectopic pregnancies. I had tubal removals back in 2011 and 2012. And so I was okay and kind of relieved when he brought up the hysterectomy, because when I searched treatments for what I had going on with me, hysterectomy kept coming up. So I was kind of already prepared for that. So when my doctor mentioned it, it just kind of confirmed what I was already thinking he was going to mention anyway, to avoid the need to have to go in again. If they did a biopsy and it was indeed positive, then I will have to. And when I say a biopsy, I don't just mean like a snippet. Like, they were actually going to take part of my cervix, and then they would do a biopsy of the uterus. So I didn't want to have to go through that twice. And so I was okay with it. It was supposed to be back in August. I did a video a while back that I lost my father and my brother in August, and my surgery was scheduled for August, I think it was the 28th or 29th. My father died on August 13th. My brother died on August 23rd. So I literally had to rush my father's funeral. And to this day, I'm still kind of dealing with that, because my surgery ended up getting moved. And I'll tell you why in a second. But I literally had to rush my father's surgery because my father's funeral, because I knew my surgery was coming up, and I knew that I needed to do this surgery before the funeral. I mean, I knew I needed to have the funeral before my surgery. So I literally rushed to my father's service and got everything together really quickly. Long story short, a day before my surgery, that Friday, I was wondering why I wasn't getting any calls or anything. I had calls about prep and stuff like that, but nobody was calling and confirming anything. They didn't give me, they said they were going to call me and give me some more prep that I was going to do. Long story short, my insurance hadn't approved it. My age, because of my age, because at first they didn't see a medical necessity, they denied it. And so we had to actually go through the appeals process. But then after my brother and my father died, my stepfather was killed in a tractor trailer accident in September. And then in October, my cousin died from COVID. Like, literally, I had so many deaths back to back that I kept putting off my surgery, because I said, okay, well, let me get through this funeral and then I'll schedule it. Literally, I had so many deaths. I mean, the last 6 months of 2021 was the worst. And so finally, January 3rd, I had my surgery. And I'm going to give some tips on ways to prepare in a second, but let me just say that everybody's situation is different, right? Some of the stories, some of the videos that I watched, like I said, I only found 2 on vaginal hysterectomies, but I did go ahead and watch the others that from people who had abdominal hysterectomies and laparoscopic hysterectomies. But let me just say that everybody's situation is different. I had read online that vaginal hysterectomies, you heal a lot sooner, which that is a lot of people's experience. They say you heal sooner than laparoscopics. However, for me, I didn't have that experience, because it seemed like it took me longer than what it normally takes to heal. And I don't know why. I'll talk about that in a second. But I did not, everything online said that vaginal hysterectomies usually heal within 2 weeks. I didn't have that experience. I was still dealing with it even up until I'm at 8 weeks now, 2 months now. It's only been about 3 weeks that I've really felt like that I'm really good. So I would say maybe about week 4 or 5 is when I really started to really feel back to myself again. And let me just back up just a little bit. So I mentioned that it initially got denied. So we had to go through an appeal process. And one of the things too that was missing, my insurance required me to sign a form acknowledging that I understood that I would be sterile. They actually required that my doctor never got me to sign. That was supposed to be signed 30 days from my surgery, which was never done. So that was another reason. So long story short, I had to appeal it. The doctor appealed it on his end, and I had to write my own statement. And in that statement, I just pointed out that, look, I'm 36. I'm okay with not having any more kids. I've already had 2 surgeries. I don't want to have to go in twice if it came back positive. So they ended up approving it. So my surgery, it came time for my surgery. Now, I did, like I said, I did have the vaginal hysterectomy. And you know, the old-fashioned way is the and I say old-fashioned, but I don't know. Yeah, it's the old-fashioned way where they would do like a abdominal cut where you have like a big incision. So that's one way they do it. And then they have a the laparoscopic way where they go in with the 2 little incisions, and that's actually what I had when I had my tubal removal. So I was familiar with that process, but my doctor decided that vaginal would be good for me, and that's when they go in and they bring everything out through the vagina. And I'm just looking at a couple of notes here so I can make sure I don't want to forget anything. I'm a teacher, and this is what we do. We take notes so we won't forget anything to tell our students. So anyway, let me just tell you about the prep. So the prep, just for you all who are maybe about to have this, maybe you already got your prepping instructions. That day before, I could not have anything to eat or drink. No, actually, so the day before, I could only be on all liquids. So I could drink, but it could only be all liquids. So, and then you have to drink the magnesium citrate, which is a laxative. So you have to drink that. I think it was a 10 ounce bottle you have to drink. And so just expect to be going to the bathroom. So you're going to be going to the bathroom, diarrhea. And let me just give it a disclaimer now. Some of this stuff may be gross to some people, but for us women who are experiencing this and have experienced this is not gross to us. Like, we get it. So if you don't like details, you might want to click off this video. And let me just say that most of the videos, you know, they gave the disclaimer, I'm not a medical professional. I am a medical professional, but I'm still giving a disclaimer that I'm not giving you medical advice. I'm just sharing my experience and just some suggestions, just a little bit advice, but I'm not advising you that this is what you absolutely have to do. So anyway, I would say just make sure you have like some broth, some chicken broth. You can have popsicles. So I made sure I had popsicles, definitely a lot of water and things like that. So the morning of my surgery, I was supposed to be scheduled at 7 o'clock. That's a whole nother thing. Insurance hadn't let the hospital know that it was approved. So I didn't have my surgery until later on that evening. And, you know, the nurses and everybody was very, very nice at the hospital. It was beautiful. They treated me so well. I mean, I remember, last thing I remember is going into anesthesia, and they was treating me so well. The last thing I remember saying was, do I need to tip y'all? Like, y'all are treating me so well. They were laughing. Next thing I know, I was waking up. I did stay overnight. So sometimes your doctor may require you to stay overnight. Depends on what's going on. And I will say too, the type of surgery that you have depends on your situation. So you may say, oh, I would love to have a vaginal hysterectomy so I don't have that incision on my stomach. However, mine was different. So mine was different. Some people, they have fibroids and they cannot, you know, they have large fibroids and things like that. And they can't have a laparoscopic procedure, or maybe they can't have the vaginal. So it depends on your situation. When I woke up, I don't know what I was doing. I felt like I was using the bathroom when I woke up. It was so weird. They were like, are you okay? I just remember laughing. I was still groggy. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing something. They were laughing. And they ended up taking me to my room. I don't know about you all. If you've ever had surgery, you know that feeling when you're first waking up out of anesthesia. I cannot stand that feeling. It's just the most, like, I couldn't keep my eyes open. I couldn't, like, I kept wanting to sit up. I just kept wanting to, like, it's just, you're just in and out so much. So that's how I pretty much was for the first few hours. And then I still had the catheter in. So they ended up taking me to I was in my room. They told me they would take my catheter out the next morning. So that first night was fine. I had the catheter in. I slept pretty much as they let me sleep. I was in pain. I will say this, prepare for the gas pain. The gas pain was the worst. I would recommend getting some Gas X before your surgery. So some of the things I'm going to tell you, I recommend just having that now. Just get it now so that way you'll have it. I didn't know that was something that I should have had on hand. I told you all I didn't watch any videos or anything, but I wish that I would have at least looked up stuff that I should have had. So learn from me. But Gas X. So I was having so much gas pain that I couldn't move, and I asked the nurses, I was wondering, is this normal? They said, oh yeah. They said this part is sometimes worse than an actual surgery, and that is true. Everybody's different. Again, everybody may not have that same experience. However, the gas pains that I had were so bad, even after I left the hospital and stuff like that. Sometimes it was so bad that I was literally in tears. And I feel like I kind of have a high tolerance for pain, but that gas pain, and I don't mean like gas pain like you're passing gas. I mean gas like it's trapped, like you have trapped gas in there. So you want to have some gas acts, and the reason is because they had to pump some in you to be able to move your organs out the way to see what they needed to see to get your uterus and cervix and your ovaries out. So just and just while I'm mentioning that, I didn't get my ovaries removed, so I still have my ovaries. If you get your ovaries removed, it will send you straight into menopause because your ovaries are responsible for estrogen, right? And so you will go straight into menopause, and some people end up on estrogen hormone replacement. But so I still have my ovaries, but so they do that so that they can see everything that they need to see. And so the gas pains was really, really bad. The next morning when I got up, they came and took my catheter out. Now let me tell you, I did not go in planning to do this, but I literally was amazing the doctors, and I was amazing myself, because I was doing things that they thought that it would take me a while. Like when they took the catheter out, they were like, you're not going to be able to pee on your own for another few hours. Like they literally, I remember the time, they literally took it out at 5:45, and they said at 3:45 it's about the time that I should be peeing. No, I literally, when they took that catheter out, I was like, I gotta go now. They was like, are you serious? I said, yeah. I went to the bathroom. It took a while to come out because, you know, everything has to settle. Your organs and everything has to get settled, and they had to work around those things. So don't be surprised. Okay, so I gotta record the rest of this video like this because I had my phone sitting up on my dashboard, and you guys know that sun flashing out on. I have an iPhone. I got that reminder, that alert that it needed to cool down before I can continue. So I did get cut off. I think I was at the part where where they didn't expect me to go to the bathroom. So yeah, I said I gotta pee. So I literally went to the bathroom. They didn't expect me to go until later on that evening, but I was like, I gotta go now. And so I went and peed, and it did take a while. So, that's where I was at. It did take a while to settle. So don't be surprised when you go to pee. It's going to be probably for those first few days or so, it's going to be just a little uncomfortable, probably because they had to, like I said, move those organs around. So everything has to settle. And so you may sit. Don't be surprised if you sit and then it takes a while to come out. And also it paused. So as you know how you just pee and the stream is just flowing, don't be surprised if you have pauses in your urine stream. And so I did that. They were like, wow. So I did that. And another thing too, so I stayed overnight, and they told me that it was possible that I would have had to stay another night. Now we had just had a very bad, it wasn't, well, not bad compared to some places, but it was bad for us. We just had a snowstorm in DC. And so I was actually like, I want to go home. But at the same time, if I would have had to stay, I was okay with that, because my ride, that would have avoided my ride having to come pick me up, come out in that weather to come pick me up. So I was kind of on the fence, but they did end up letting me go. And another reason why they let me go was because I had a bowel movement sooner than they thought. So they said that I wouldn't have a bowel movement for a few days, up until a week. I was like, look, I gotta go. And the reason why I think I had to go was because, remember that magnesium citrate I told you all that they had you to drink? I was still feeling like I had to go from that, because I had been drinking it the day before. So I told them I had to go. So I actually went. So I went to the bathroom. I peed. I made a bowel movement, 2 things that they were not expecting me to do that soon. So they were like, wow, like you just doing it. And then when it came time for me to get a bath, they even asked me, do I need to be washed up? I was like, look, I got it. I was like, I'm okay. So went and did the, stand up, wash up at the sink. So I did that on my own. And they were just really surprised. I even got up. They do advise you to walk as soon as you can, just a little bit, right? That helps with the gas. The sooner you can get up and walk and move around a little bit, not too much, just a little bit. The sooner you can do that, the sooner, it just helps with your healing process. So I got up and walked on my floor. I'm like, look, and like I said, I wasn't intentionally thinking this at first, but I was just like, I don't know, it was just naturally just happening for me. And then I did get to a point where like, I want to go ahead and go home. So long story short, I got home. My best friend and her fiance came to pick me up. And my daughter, who is 16, as I mentioned before, she was 15. She just turned 16. She was, well, actually, no, she had already turned 16. I'm sorry. So she was very helpful with me, going up and down the steps for me. So I could use the steps. Those days following my surgery, I just really had to decide if I was going to spend the day upstairs or downstairs, because I couldn't be up and down. So those first couple weeks were really rough, I will say that. And again, everybody is different, because I watch videos and, you know, they say vaginal hysterectomy is supposed to be the quickest recovery, and I'm watching videos, they had laparoscopic and abdominal, and they was good in like a week or two. So everybody's different. I just want to mention that again. And with a vaginal hysterectomy, they do tell you that you can't have sex for 6 weeks, or at least until you go to the doctor. That didn't bother me at all. If you have been following my channel for any amount of time, if you watch some of my other videos, you know I've been abstinent. I'm waiting until marriage, so it's been 6.5 years for me now. So that was one thing I didn't have to worry about. I was in no rush, because there was nothing going on anyway. So they did tell me that I could not, no baths, you can't get in the pool, you have to be cleared for all of that stuff, even driving. You just got to make sure you get cleared by your doctor. One thing I do recommend is they call it a belly binder. They may give you one at the hospital. I did not get one at the hospital that I was at. I didn't even know it was an option to ask one. I didn't know that until I was watching videos, but I definitely recommend that you can get one off Amazon, but it will help so much with the heaviness. Be prepared to have the heaviness in your stomach. You're going to have when I say you're going to, I meant to say you may most likely have a lot of bloating. I am, like I said, in week 8, I was not able to wear jeans until week 5. I couldn't wear jeans because I was so bloated. So, you know, again, everybody's different, but stretch pants, have you some stretch pants, have you some leggings and things like that. But the belly binder, it keeps you from the heaviness. Was probably one of the worst things, along with the gas. The heaviness, like when you stand up, your stomach just feels so heavy. And I will be honest, I had a few times where I was feeling discouraged, because it just felt like I was never going to get better, and I didn't understand why. It was like every time I felt like I was getting better, it just seemed like I was right back at like day 2, like day 2 or day 3. And I remember the nurse telling me before I left the hospital, she said, I don't care how good you start feeling, do not forget that the surgery happened. She said that she had surgery. She had the same surgery, vaginal hysterectomy, years ago. She was feeling good. She started exerting herself, and then she had a setback. And I understand what she meant, because I had moments where I was feeling so good. I'm like, look, I want to get out of here. I'm feeling good. I'm up. I feel like I want to clean up, cook, whatever. And then my body let me know, nah, sis, you need to sit down. So I will give that same advice to you. No matter how good you're feeling, don't forget that the surgery happened. Your body will remind you anyway. Another thing you want to be mindful of is constipation. So, and not even just, and when I say constipation, I don't even mean just like it hurts when you go, because if you're taking stool softeners, which I do recommend you have stool softeners, have you some prune juice. That prune juice, I'm telling you, that prune juice is going to work wonders. Prune juice, stool softeners, things like that will soften you up once you go. But when I say constipation, I don't just mean that when you go it's going to hurt. I mean, like, you may not even have an urge to go. I am in week 8, and I'm just getting to the point where I don't have to drink a cup of prune juice every day. Because if I was not drinking prune juice, I would literally have no urge to go. Thankfully, I didn't experience constipation in the sense where I went and it hurt, because I was taking the stool softeners and I was drinking the prune juice. But I did have to keep drinking the prune juice so that I would have an urge to go. Have you some prune juice? Grapes are good, because grapes help you go, or even prunes if you like prunes or raisins. Those are good to have. So don't be surprised about the constipation. I literally drank a cup of prune juice. Usually I would drink it at night, and then in the morning time I would go to the bathroom, take my shower, and do whatever I needed to do for the day. You may experience some nausea. So the nausea, I think it had a lot to do with the prune juice and stuff like that. I think it had a lot to do with that, because I don't know if you all ever noticed, sometimes when you have to go to the bathroom, you may feel nausea as well, because it's all connected. All that stuff is connected. That gut health is so important. Usually nausea is signs that something is going on with your gut, with your intestines. So I think that the nausea had a lot to do with with the actual had a lot to do with the fact that I was drinking prune juice a lot. And one thing I will say to your pain medicine, have some pain medicine on hand. I eventually got to a point, I knew I had arrived, and I say arrived, like I knew I was getting to the point where I was really getting better once I got to a point where I wasn't taking a Motrin every day. When I got to that point where I was like, wow, I didn't take a Motrin today. And that was probably in week 3 or 4. I was like, why I didn't take a Motrin today? You know, I realized, I was like, oh, wow, I'm getting better now. But the doctor's going to prescribe you something. Tylenol does not do anything for me. It may work for you, but some people can't take Motrin, so if that's all you can, you might have to take a couple of Tylenols. Everybody's different again. I just have I don't know why, but Tylenol has never done anything for me. So I had Motrin and I had Percocet. The Percocet, I really only took the first few days, and then I took it again maybe around week 3 or 4, which is when I felt like I had a setback. And the setback that I felt like I had was when I began to feel the pain of the vaginal incision inside. So when you have a vaginal hysterectomy, they do suture you up down there. And I didn't realize what the pain was until I watched the video. And the girl was describing how it almost felt like when she was sitting, it almost felt like she could feel the cuff that they make inside. Because think about it, my cervix is gone. So they have to stitch the top of your vagina, right up there where the cervix was. So it literally, I understood what she meant. Once I watched that video, I understood the pain that I was feeling. You could literally feel it inside. And so I started taking Percocet then. It was like around week 3. And that's when I was at the point where I felt like I was never going to get better. But I got good news. I got better. I feel better. I feel good. Looking at me, you don't even know I just had surgery 2 months ago. Like, I was literally still limping. Even a month ago when I came out here and I literally sat here a month to the day. February 3rd was a month to the day I had surgery. It didn't even hit me that it was a month to the day. But I had just started back driving, and I was sitting there, and I forgot where I was going with that. Dang it, I hate that. I lost my train of thought. I don't remember what I was saying. But anyway, it got better. You can't tell that I had surgery. I have no visible scars. I feel good. Do I still every now and then have some uncomfortableness here and there? Yeah, because it was major surgery. So I would say give yourself some time. I had points where I wanted to rush it. I wanted to be okay. Like, I was just tired of being in pain. I was tired of being at home. I was tired of relying on people to go to the grocery store for me, to take my daughter to the store for me. And I just wanted it to be over. But I would just say, give yourself time. It's going to get better. It may not feel like it in certain moments, but I thank God that it was temporary. Like, when I think about how people had to do so much for me, I was thinking about how, wow, this is temporary. But there are some people whose situation is permanent, and it just made me so thankful, because I'm like, yeah, I'm relying on people right now. Yeah, you know, even when I was in a hospital and the nurse offered to wash me up and stuff, and I said I could do it, I thought about how there's so many people who don't have that option to do it themselves, and it just made me so thankful. Like, certain things we just take for granted, and it just made me not take my health, not take my life for granted. And just being able to do stuff on your own. Like, if you brush your own teeth this morning, if you got yourself dressed, like, be thankful, because there's so many people out there that can't do those simple things. And so I hope that this video was helpful and encouraging to you. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. Like I said, there's not a lot of videos on vaginal hysterectomies that I could find. I literally only found 2. Everything else that was coming up in the algorithm was videos like the actual procedure, and I definitely don't want to see that, and I don't think you want to see that either. So let me just check my notes just to make sure I'm not leaving anything else off. I did make a note here that overall the procedure, it was not as bad as I anticipated. Even though the pain that I had, there was a few times from the gas pain, like I said, I was in tears. I can honestly say that the overall experience was not what I thought. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Again, everybody's situation is different. But I would say, you know, if you have a support system, lean on them. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I am very independent, and I'm a single mom. I've been single for years. I'm used to doing things on my own, and so it was humbling just having to rely on people. And you know, and even like people like just off like, look, I'm okay, like I got you, like it's okay to ask for help. And so rely on your support system. If you're married, rely on your spouse, you know, your kids. Just really allow yourself to rest. That's another thing I would say. There was moments where I needed to do something, but your body will let you know. And listen to your body. When your body tells you you need to rest, when I'm the type of person, I do a lot of stuff. I'm on the go. I have several businesses. I work, I teach. I just have a lot of stuff going on. I'm always taking classes and learning, and so I'm constantly doing. And there were literally moments where I literally said, I need to shut my computer down and just lay down and watch TV. I do not watch a lot of TV. I watched more TV during my healing than I've watched in years, because I just have so much going on. I'm an author. I write books. I publish authors. I had, you know, so I just have a lot going on. But that experience, it literally made me like sit down and sis, rest. You had a major surgery. A hysterectomy is a major surgery. It's a major life-changing surgery. You are having your uterus removed, right? If you are having hysterectomy with your salpingectomy, with your tubes removed, that's a hysterectomy with a salpingectomy. Or if you are having your ovaries removed, either way, it is a major life-changing surgery. Allow yourself to rest. Don't rush the process. So I think this is it. I think I covered everything. If I remember, I'll make a part 2 to this video. If this is your first time visiting today, like I said, I don't normally post these type of videos. I post videos, inspirational videos for women, how to think like a virtuous woman spiritually, financially, and relationally. So if that's something that you would want to subscribe to, feel free to subscribe. Feel free to reach out to me. My email will be down below if you have any questions, or like I said, leave it down below because somebody else may have the same question. So thank you again for visiting my channel. Be blessed.